So it's time to turn in your rough draft. Let's talk briefly about what that looks like. The assignment, of course, is rough draft and lab notebook. Hopefully, most of you turned in your handwritten data last week. So all you need to do is now have it in your science fair binder. So that's ready to go. And then your rough draft is just going to be the template that you've been working on all along. You're going to do add a few sections in there. Then you're going to make some changes, polish it up, so that it is as close to ready to turn in as we can get it right now, so that we can make the adjustments and changes so that it's ready to go completely for the final draft. So let's take a look what that looks like. Here is the template we've been using. This one's the blank one. Hopefully you have all of this stuff done already. You've already had your introduction, your hypothesis, and all this approved, and you've gone through doing your experiment. Most of you got your data tables filled out already, so that's fine. If you didn't get that filled out, now's the time. Some of you, when you did your data, you did this part here. You explained what you did during your experiment. This is where you're going to put photos of you doing your experiment, and you will have written all these details about it. If you haven't done that already, now is the time. Get that done. Then you'll finish up your table here. Then we'll jump down to analysis, okay? This is where you're going to kind of explain the data, tell us what it means, okay? Assume that we don't know anything about your project or really anything about anything, and explain it to us as you would someone who knows nothing about what's going on, okay? This is where you're also going to put your graphs, and this is the thing that is getting people stumped a little bit. So let's talk about how to put in a graph. It is super, super easy, especially in our Google Docs program here. You're going to go up here to insert, okay, and you're going to choose chart. Now then it's going to give you all these choices of which kind of graph you want to put in. If you don't remember the best way to display your data, look back in your science notebook. It might be foldable number 6. It's about the graphs, and it has each type of graph and the best way to display information in each graph. So just look at that and you can figure out which type of these graphs is going to be best for the type of data you need to display. So once you've decided that, then you can come back here and choose what kind. Now, just for the sake of putting the sample in here, I'm going to make a bar graph, and I'm going to use a topic. A student is making a project of this topic this year, but I'm making up this data. This is not her data. So we'll go choose a bar graph, and then down here, it's going to give us the option to edit that in Sheets. So you'll want to choose that, and then let it load all the rest of the way. Now it's going to put up your sample graph here, and then this is all your data. So you can actually watch as you're putting in your data. You can watch it on the sample graph and make sure you're putting everything where you want it to be. Okay. First thing, of course, you always want to name your graph. And in this case, we're going to call it, oops, hurry up and get up there thing. Okay. We're going to name it candles. Time for candles to burn in minutes. So that's the name of our graph. That's the data we're going to display here. So that's fine. Okay. Then we're going to go up here. Obviously, you can see where we've got the team names here is going to correspond with the team names over here. Okay. But of course, we're changing it from points scored. The data we want to display on the side is the type of candle. Okay. Our dependent variable goes up the side. So here we go. We're going to use white candles, and we're going to use red candles, and we're going to use green candles and blue candles. Okay. And then the independent variable, or our time rate of change, is going to go across the bottom. And since we went in minutes, it actually will set itself depending on whatever data we put in here. But we're only going to have one measurement, so we don't need this one. So we can just take that right out. We'll delete them all. If you have more than one measurement, obviously you can leave them in there and they'll do a real nice comparison. But on this one, we only have one. So see, it deleted all these extra lines. Now I don't need those anymore. And so it's now going to tell me my candles in minutes. Now it's got these numbers down here that were preset. But my data, which of course is made up, but for the sake of this argument, my data is going to be 5 minutes and 7 minutes and 3 minutes and 6 minutes. Okay, and see, it automatically adjusts on my stuff. It adjusted my numbers down here to 2, 4, 6, and 8, so they would be more appropriate for the data I'm displaying. Now, the only thing left here is it's still trying to tell me that this is what period it is. Okay, so this is actually going to be type of, oops, type of candle. Okay, so once I get all those things put in, now my graph displays the type of information that I need it to display, and it will go right into my, let's tell it to update. Give it a second, and there's my graph. Okay, super, super easy. And then, I mean, if you want to be real fancy, you can even put in more than one kind to display your information in a different way. But it makes your report look super nice and very classy with a pretty minimum of effort. Okay, then you're going to finish out your conclusion, restate your hypothesis, of course, give a brief overview of your data analysis, tell us if your hypothesis was supported or not. This is where you're going to start wrapping it up. If not, it's okay if your hypothesis wasn't supported. That's okay. But tell us what wasn't supported and why maybe you think that was. Why did it not go the way you thought? Did you maybe have to change a variable halfway or change some part of your procedure? Or, you know, did a variable you didn't expect come up and you had to make room for that? So put those things in here and let us know what happened. And then go ahead and tell us if you are going to do more research on this topic, or if someone else was going to come in and pick up where you left off, what would you recommend they do? Now that you've done this research, you know what the next step should be. So make sure you tell them what the next step should be, and that's also something you're going to need to know for your presentation. So go ahead and be thinking about that now. Work it out, put it in here so that it makes sense. Okay, then hopefully your bibliography is already done. Don't worry at this point about your page breaks and your table of contents, because once you're completely done, then we'll go ahead and put in your hard page breaks and we'll do your table of contents, because any adjustments you make right now may screw up the page numbers that we put in. So don't worry about that right now. We'll fix that later. Also, as you're moving through this report and taking a look at all the things that are in here, if I have made any comments for you, I have changed the color of the text and I have made a note for you. Okay, so please make whatever adjustment I suggested and then take out my comments. Please don't leave my comments in there. That's just silly. Okay, also, if you have any more of these places where I have a little paragraph telling you what to write, once you've written your information in here, you don't need my paragraph anymore. So get rid of that. Okay, you should be down to the point where all of this is just your own stuff. You shouldn't have any notes in here from me anymore. Okay, so then once you're done with that, super easy, back to here. Once you open the assignment, then you'll come down here where it says add, and then you can click in add from Google Drive, just like you've been doing all along, and then you can tell it to turn in. That's how I'll get it, and I will get it back to you as quickly as possible so you can finish your editing process. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.